district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Fidelity Bank. For all your banking and pension needs, call or visit a Fidelity branch today. Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. And Cayman Pharmacy Group, with locations in West Base and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. And Seaboard Marine. With over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling Seaboard Marine at 949-4977.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. Today is Friday, the 30th day of November 2018. I trust that everyone had an enjoyable evening and that your day today will go as smoothly as it possibly can. I want to thank you, our listening and viewing audience, for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, whether it be an office cubicle or if you're working in the outdoors. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 9:30 a.m. Phone lines are always open. There is always someone there waiting to take your calls. Normally, that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson. You can call us on a toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number is 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us on 925-3261. There you can leave us a voice note or send us a text message, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And, of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. Today being Friday, it is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning none other than the leader of the opposition, the Honorable D. Ezard Miller. Mr. Miller, good morning, sir. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and good morning to the listening Cayman, and it's good to be back, and I look forward to an interesting day. We got a couple of things to talk about.
We certainly do, and
coming off of 20 plus laws in LA and motions.
In how many days?
4
days. Yeah. Had to be pretty exhausting. I think sometimes you went pretty late at night.
Yes.
But it's all over now, and probably no more meetings for the year. Anticipate maybe
we
one.
We have been alerted that there may be a meeting in December, because to facilitate some legislation that they have to draft or adjust or amend because of the OECD and what's the Caribbean Financial
Caribbean Financial Action Task Force,
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Something that they need to do with that based on their most recent evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we may probably have to go back for one day or something like that.
Okay. Well, give us a little. I know people were able to listen on Radio Cayman there were times when it was carried live as well as a rebroadcast as well. But
it's still going on in a rebroadcast. Yeah.
That's right, last night, yeah. So tell us, some of the more prominent issues.
But the two big pieces of legislation had to do with the coming together of aspects of immigration with customs to form the border control and the creating of the works with the work permit and Cayman status and stuff. Those are the major pieces of legislation. Most of the other stuff was amendments, a couple of pieces. A little bit I think we voted against the Freedom of Information amendments because we were a little bit concerned about the new restrictions on government, some of the government documents, particularly related to ministries. Which has always been my fear of when we created this overarching ombudsman. I was of the view that the Freedom of Information legislation was working well, and I saw no reason to create this hierarchy above it of the ombudsman. And my concern then, because I'd heard whispers of, particularly because at the time I was the chairman of the Oversight Committee in the Legislative Assembly for the Police Commissioner.
Okay.
Which is also now melted into that. And there was some underlying evidence of interference by senior civil servants in trying to control, and particularly the Police Commissioner. They had a system where they called own-initiated investigation, So we're very concerned about the additional restrictions and other barriers that is put onto the Freedom of Information legislation, which we thought were unnecessary. I guess the government saw it and believed they were necessary because it was working too good. We were getting too much information. So, but basically that was, of course, then we also had the Finance Committee was held the last day. I don't have to tell you because you've been Cabinet Secretary, but there is a provision in the PMFL law which allows government to move around funds and also to expend, I think it's up to 5% of the total budget.
Right.
But that requires that those Section 12, don't hold me to that, of the PMFL law be reported to the Legislative Assembly ASAP.
Right.
And I must congratulate the Ministry of Finance in that they're reporting such activities to Parliament is on schedule and very timely. There was a point in the last administration where we hadn't done it for 4 years, and then we tried to do a number on the last sitting before the House was dissolved, and it was unsuccessful. But we're up to date. Of course, some of the troubling things in there was an additional capital equity injection in the Cayman Airways of $7.5 million to help pay debts when we've already put in a subsidy of $22+ million that we are aware of because there may be some more to come.
Yes, yeah.
Because you remember the famous $2 million from Education Department about a year, 2 years ago to help to finance the engine to the 800. And it was denied, and finally it had to be confirmed by bringing the papers to Parliament. But all in all, I thought it was a very successful session of the Legislative Assembly.
Okay. On the immigration law amendments, were there some changes that were done in at the committee stage?
I think there might have been one minor thing, but most of this was just cut and paste, really. They just took what was existing in the immigration law that was going to works and moved it there, carte blanche. And those that was going to customs from the enforcement side and the border control issues was moved over carte blanche. And there was there has to be another piece of legislation brought now once it's up and running to finally. But this piece of legislation was designed to facilitate the transition of authority and statutory authority to both bodies in order to get started 1st of January.
Yeah, and I believe that there was some debate on the head of the Border Control Agency's ability to issue firearms or something
that was
of that nature?
That amendment was to the customs
section. Yes. Tell us about that.
The way it was presented was that which was kind of curious, really, because the works and immigration people, right, could bear arms when they went out to inspect things, but our border control agencies could not bear arms. So that was raised by my good friend from East End, Mr. Arden McLean, and the government saw the wisdom in it and filed the amendment so that the now border control people can bear arms when they go out to enforce on enforcement roles. And I think arms includes guns, mace, handcuffs, and there's a definition in the law. But that was very important. But I believe that's the only change that was made to that. Okay.
And what's happening in your district? And what are the plans for Christmas? For the holidays?
I'm hosting tomorrow evening. We're having one of these beloved Thanksgiving dinners at the Civic Center. And I've invited a cross-section of the community. I have some senior citizens. I have some people my age who are very close to senior citizens at this point in time. Some millennials. We have this year 6 of the primary school come in, right? And Miss Pat in my office is invited wonderful stalwarts in the education industry like Miss Janet Lee Clifford, because part of what they Celebrate Cayman what's done at these dinners is they've set out a number of questions to be discussed and what's the future of Cayman, what is the thing that you miss most about Cayman, what you wish hadn't changed, how would you like to see the future of Cayman. And it's going to be interesting to listen to the various age groups and what positions they take on that. And so that should be a fun evening. Arch has agreed to be the MC, and he's good at that kind of thing. And then I have Miss Patricia Ebanks and Miss Janet Lee and a couple of others who are going to help drive the conversation around the tables, and one of the things that I want to pull out is the young people, because we complain that the young people are always in trouble, but I was at a function last night and the guest speaker reminded us of Edmund Burke's statement in the 17th or 18th century, where he said that all that is necessary for evil to take over is for good men to sit idle by and do nothing.
Yes.
And one of the things, and his whole speech was based on balance between the youth and the elderly, and the fact that we are not engaging the elderly, we are not providing forums for the elderly to engage with the youth, because you and I obviously were raised by the village. I tell people that our generation was the last generation in Cayman that was raised by the village. But we learned our manners and our etiquette at the dining room table, right? And you had specific rules.
Yep.
You couldn't put your elbows on the table, but it was a family event. That doesn't seem to be happening. We were involved in church. We took great pride in putting on your Sunday best to go to church, right? And part of your chores that you were given on Saturday, besides helping with around the yard and other places, you had to clean your shoes and polish your shoes and have them all bright and clean. So one of the other things that I'm doing in the school now side is we have somebody who volunteered and is doing a deportment session for the boys in the class. How to treat women properly, how to dress properly, and cleaning shoes, because these kind of things, while they may sound trivial, they instill pride in people. And if you're just comfortable wearing dirty shoes all the time, what does it say about you?
Help.
What is it? Puritan Cleaners is dress clean, feel gooder. I don't remember but they have a catchphrase. But so that's the main thing that's going on. And then on the 8th of December, they're having something at a caroling session at the Ronald Falls playing field, and then Miss Alex and her group of civic-minded individuals are having their usual Christmas dinner and giveaway. I think it's the 15th in the Civic Center. But also I have to make a comment on this. I had the people from the Social Services Department, well, Children and Family Services, as it's called now, out to meet with me and my office manager and the district council on Wednesday evening. And when I walked into the Civic Center, all the chairs are chained together with cables and padlocks. I mean, why do they treat the people on our side like criminals? So, why would you chain up the chairs? I mean, I just can't get over that, right?
Have any gone missing before? Or what?
Well, here's part of when I called up. Well, we're missing chairs. You saying somebody on our side stealing your chairs? No, but because they take the chairs from our side Civic Centre and they'll carry them East End or they'll bring them Georgetown and we done a bit of mix up. I see chairs on our side mark East End Civic Centre. I see chairs on our side mark Borden Down Civic Centre, right? But you don't do that to the people.
Is there a custodian? Do they have a custodian there so that whenever the center is open, that person is there? Open it, close it?
Well, supposedly, yeah. But I mean, because my office is there, right? I have always enjoyed the ability to use a facility for things like this. My office is half the size of one we're here now. Where am I going to accommodate 5 people in a meeting? But I go inside the room, fold down at the table, right? And then I go towards the chair and I look at there's all the steel cable and padlocks, right? Yeah. I mean, you can't explain that to me. Why do we insist as a government that we have to make it difficult for our people to enjoy the facility? This thing was built on the backs of Northside people and Caymanians who pay taxes for this thing.
Yep.
It doesn't belong to some civil servant to lock it down.
Mm-hmm. We have to take a commercial break. That's okay. That's fine. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
Immigration laws have long been prevalent through modern Caymanian history, stemming as far back as 1916 when laws were enacted to prevent entry into the islands by non-Caymanian paupers. In 1934, during the Great Depression, a more detailed regulation and immigration law passed, which also gave the first legal definition of a Caymanian. As the islands became home to increased numbers of foreign workers, the Aliens Law of 1961 came into place, which implemented the permit process for those wishing to remain on island. This was followed by the Caymanian Protection Law of 1971, which sought to protect the interests of Caymanians and the integrity of Caymanian way of life. This was followed by the Caymanian Protection Law of 1971, which sought to protect the interests of Caymanians and the integrity of the Caymanian way of life. In 1971 saw the appointment of a chief immigration officer, creation of a protection board, and establishment of appeals procedures. The law was reformulated in 1984, rewritten in 1992. The 1971 law saw the appointment of a chief immigration officer, the creation of a protection board, and the establishment of an appeals process. The law was reformulated in 1984, rewritten in 1992, and has undergone numerous revisions since then.
Radio Cayman's Historical Facts Vignettes are proudly brought to you by Cayman National, with branches on all 3 Cayman Islands. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
I need a bank that is convenient for me.
What do you mean?
I need a bank that has easy-to-find locations and plenty ATMs when I need cash on the go.
Oh, well, that's easy. You need to bank with Cayman National. They have 7 customer service centers and 23 ATM locations. The newest one is at the East End Post Office, and I hear there's more to come.
Well, sounds like I need to bank with Cayman National Bank, the convenient bank, because they seem to be everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. Cayman National is everywhere. Surely they are Cayman's convenient bank.
Cayman National Bank. We're here for you.
You remember the sale at Vamped Motors?
Yeah, the Your Sale, Your Choice. The one where you can get cash back or can put the savings to extend the warranty or upgrade features?
Yes, it's still going on. But now you can get $8,000 off a new Ford Ranger truck. $8,000, you know?
You for real?
Come see for yourself. While they still have so much to choose from, save big during Your Sale, Your Choice at Vamped Motors. With almost every vehicle on sale, you decide whether to get your dream ride at its lowest price. Take cash back, add years to the warranty or service plan. Choose an add-on or mix your options. Your sale, your choice, because you know what you need, and Vamped Motors will help you drive it home. Vamped Motors on Walker's Road. A trip to New York City is the experience of a lifetime. Starting this December, Cayman Airways will be offering daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman to New York City. That's right, Cayman Airways is going daily to New York City starting this December. Stroll through Central Park or take in the bright lights of Times Square. Enjoy a Broadway show or visit museums, the Empire State Building, and so much more. Whether you're visiting for business or pleasure, you'll fall in love with New York City. And daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman aboard Cayman Airways starting this December. For details and to book, call Cayman Airways reservations at 949-2311. Contact a travel agent or visit CaymanAirways.com.
The Cayman Pharmacy Group would like to thank the Cayman communities for their continuous support for over the past decade. CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy opened its doors in March 2000. West Bay Pharmacy first opened their doors in March 2004. The Cayman Pharmacy Group was established in July 2007. Throughout the years, our CPG family has provided more than just pharmaceuticals to our loyal friends and customers. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has protected the lives of our medical community by securing the best healthcare advice and pharmaceutical services. To us at CPG, you are more than just a number. So, we are taking the time to say thank you for choosing CPG. The Cayman Pharmacy Group, taking care of your health.
Sometimes things just don't go as planned. That's why you need Contractors All-Risk Insurance from Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Ensure you're covered in the event of property damage and third-party injury or damage claims during your construction projects. And with Fidelity Insurance Brokers, you can be sure you are getting competitive pricing and superior customer service. Call us today for a free quote. Fidelity, we're good for you. The Intertrust Cayman Islands Marathon takes place this Sunday, December 2nd, starting at 5 a.m. Organizers are requesting the public's assistance and cooperation in the following.
On your marks, get set.
Between the hours of 5 a.m. and 10 a.m., please keep traffic to a minimum on South Sound and Walker's Road. Watch out for the runners, walkers, and wheelchairs on the road. Be kind to them. Keep your dogs inside your yard. Please help us to make our runners experience a safe and enjoyable one. Call 329-4480 for more information. This public service announcement is brought to you by Radio Cayman.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record, with your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, none other than the Leader of the Opposition, the Honorable D. Ezard Miller. We have one caller, so we're going to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
I'm not hearing it.
Are you hearing? Well, go ahead now, caller. He's hearing you now. Turn the volume down a little bit. Try the volume. Go ahead, caller.
Good morning, Mr. Miller.
Good morning.
Morning. Mr. Miller, I don't know why you're so surprised to find the chairs tied down. I heard on the radio where they're advertising for booking at the public beach of the cabanas and so forth. I thought you could just walk up there and pick a cabana and have a good time, but apparently not. But anyhow, I add that to your chairs. You can think about it.
Okay.
Mr. Miller, who's in charge of transportation vehicles and so forth on the roads and so forth, except the license department? Who's in government in charge of that?
Well, the license department is responsible for inspections on the roadworthiness and licensing of your car. The enforcement of the traffic law and the requirements on the traffic law is the duty of the police and the courts, DPP.
Mr. Miller, we got some vehicles on the road. I don't know how to get them past. We got them with plywood windshield in the back. We got them with no lights, back or front. I mean, we got some unroadworthy cars on the road, and I don't know where the police officers are and what they are doing, but it is dangerous. It's very, very health hazard. They don't have no mufflers on them. Have a guy come through the Newlands area, and it's just when he's ready, he just revs that up, and it's like he doesn't have a muffler on it. It's irritating to know that we got all this noise going on, and we got so many officers out there, and where are they? Oh, by the way, Mr. O.C., the other day we were talking about the police officers. Next morning there was one up on the Newlands bypass there with the big old brake lights on. The flashlight was on, driving slowly into the highway here. And also down by Hurley there was a police car down there and the police on his motorbike.
Good.
But what they're doing, I really don't know. But anyhow, Mr. Miller, I was called lazy a couple of days ago by an expat. But I'll leave that there.
Yeah.
I'm not lazy. And Mr. Miller, is it anyway that this garbage collection going to change from 2 o'clock in the morning back to 5 o'clock or 6 in the morning? Is there any plans out there for this hour to be changed?
Well, I have no idea because that whole ministry from the top down is in severe turmoil. I saw in the news yesterday, I think it was, that the minister has pulled the plug on buying new garbage trucks because all of a sudden there's nothing wrong with the trucks.
Trucks is management.
I don't know. I don't even know when it picks up garbage in North Side. No, I just put my garbage on my truck and bring it to the garbage dump down myself. I'm sick and tired of calling that the garbage is not being picked up. So I try to point out in the Finance Committee that what they're doing is actually illegal because the public health law actually requires garbage in residential areas to be collected twice per week.
Exactly. And Mr. Miller, we understood the situation some months ago. We had to come out all reasons of the morning to pick up garbage. I mean, it's still going on 2 o'clock in the morning. Once you wake, you can't even go back to sleep. I mean, you got to go to a job next morning, you know. And these guys don't have no lighting on them or no light out vests or nothing out there. It's dark. And when they drop the garbage on the ground, they practically can't see, so they leave it right there. You understand? So I really truly believe that they need to do something about the 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock morning pickup. I mean, I appreciate it being picked up. But when turn is wake or adults is wake, they got to go to work at 6 in the morning and be awake at 2 in the morning till 5 o'clock with a garbage truck run through the neighborhood. I think that is ludicrous and disrespectful to the people of this island. So I'm just hoping they can get it put together sooner or later.
But I hope so too. But you know, we heard that we're getting there. They're going to get, I think it was 10 temporary employees. Now we have 400 people who work in the NICE program. I'm sure we could find 10 or 15 people there who would take permanent jobs for a couple of $100 a week.
Exactly.
To load the garbage truck. This terrible idea that we're going to use prisoners to assist in picking up garbage on the truck. I'm getting all kind of complaints, justifiably so, particularly from senior citizens in my community who don't want these garbage trucks providing the opportunity for prisoners to scope out their properties.
Exactly.
And you know, some of the prisoners may be okay, but that's not a solution to it. I'd have no problem with using the prisoners in picking up garbage along the side of the road and putting it in bags. But I think if you're going to send, how are you going to supervise 2 prisoners on the back of a truck loading the garbage truck? Where's the supervisor going to be? In the truck or driving behind a car? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
And you know, the solution a couple of months ago was the same thing. We were going to hire 10 people temporarily to work on the garbage trucks. The problem with the trucks has always been is that the people in charge wouldn't hire the correct amount of staff that they needed so they could satisfy the existing staff by giving them all of these extra overtime hours, right? And they blew the overtime budget. because they don't have staff and Caymanians are looking for work. I have sent people from my constituent there to apply for truck drivers' jobs and all that sort of stuff, and they won't hire them.
Okay. Caller, we're going to ask you to leave us there. We've reached 8 o'clock, so we have to go to the 8 o'clock news. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Price Right is Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore, making your dollar go further with huge savings and no membership fees. Get more of the things you use every day at the right price. But it's not just grocery and health and beauty. Price Right has a full range of products from office to automotive, patio furnishings to kitchen appliances, and even electronics. And since warehouse prices mean savings for you, everything is priced right at Price Right, Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore.
And the time is 8 a.m. brought to you by Price Right.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
Access information. Your community. News and information. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. The Department of Environment is urging members of the public to abide by the national conservation laws. Cayman's lobster season opens tomorrow. The season will span 3 months between December 1st and February 28th. During the open season, there are strict rules regarding how many lobsters and of what size can be taken. Lobsters can only be taken from outside marine protected areas, and only spiny lobsters can be taken. Any lobster taken must have a minimum tail length of 6 inches, and there's a limit during the open season of 3 spiny lobster per person per day, or 6 spiny lobster per boat per day, whichever's less. In addition, anyone who takes, purchases, receives, or offers for sale, exchange, or donation more than 3 lobsters per day from Cayman waters commits an offense under the National Conservation Law. Anyone who possesses more than 3 lobsters a day or allows another person to take that will also be committing an offense. The law also bans the taking of lobster and all other marine life except lionfish while scuba diving. The DOE is also asking individuals catching lobster to avoid, if possible, the taking of females. And it's a whirlwind of activity at the National Gallery as its team prepares for this year's costume gala,
which of course is held to raise funds for National Gallery education, free admission for the entire community, and this year particularly our Creative Careers program, which supports young Caymanian students to explore potential careers in architecture, museum studies, art, design, and so forth.
Speaking to us in between tents set up on the lawn, National Gallery Director Natalie Urquhart promised a, quote, very exciting night.
This year we're inspired by the recent Art of Fashion exhibition that features bespoke collections by Caymanian fashion designer Jawara Aline and Izzy B. And the night is actually going to feature a fully fledged fashion show with those beautiful costumes that have been on display at the gallery for the last 3 months.
Tonight's event is sold out, and attendees are encouraged to come decked out in extreme fashion. It's one of the biggest fundraisers of the year for the gallery, and Ms. Urquhart is hoping the auction will draw in massive funds for the gallery's many programs.
And this year we have several really exciting packages, all inspired by fashion and the art of fashion. This includes VIP access to the upcoming Camana Bay NKY Fashion Extravaganza on the 6th of December, and we've got trips to Miami for the annual Miami Fashion Summit. We have a wonderful spa package at the brand new Botanica Union at the Beach House, and many, many more packages with regular and new National Gallery partners.
For more information, head to nationalgallery.org.ky. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, who will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Debbie Russ. Ukraine is banning Russian men between the ages of 16 and 60 from entering the country to prevent the formation of what President Petro Poroshenko called private armies. Martial law was imposed in parts of Ukraine this week after Russia seized 3 Ukrainian naval vessels off occupied Crimea. Russia has condemned the ban. The president of Argentina, Mauricio Macri, has begun welcoming world leaders to Buenos Aires for this year's G20 summit. The build-up to the meeting has been clouded by tensions over trade, climate change and the conflict in Ukraine. There is also uncertainty about whether the final version of a new North American trade agreement will be signed as expected. The International Olympic Committee has suspended planning for boxing at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics because of concerns about the sport's governing body. It's launching an inquiry into the International Boxing Association over its governance, ethics and financial management. A Chinese man has been cleared of murder after spending 23 years in prison. Ginger Hong was convicted of killing a woman in Jilin province in 1995. He appealed many times, saying that his confession had been obtained through torture. The United Nations says preliminary findings show as many as 23 civilians were killed in a US airstrike in Afghanistan on Tuesday. Most of the victims were women and children. The strike in Helmand province took place during a joint operation between Afghan and US forces against the Taliban. New Zealand has experienced its third fatal mass stranding of whales within a week. 50 pilot whales beached themselves on the remote Chatham Islands overnight. The Spanish capital, Madrid, has brought in new driving restrictions in the centre of the city to reduce pollution. The authorities believe the measures will cut exhaust emissions by 40%, reduce noise and help reclaim public space. BBC News.
Access information.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Rewind to the 70s, 80s, and 90s as Breezy Productions presents Footloose, a throwback party. Friday, November 30th at 47 Ashcroft Street, Pinnacle Warehouse. Taking you back in time, musically Super C, DJ Preston, international DJs Smoke and DJ Marvin from Red Nassau. Admission 20 pre-sale, 25 up the gate. VIP tickets $75.
Inclusive of food and drink and top shelf liquor.
Ticket outlets, Funky Times, Express Window Tintin, and Event Pro. It's Footloose, a throwback party. Sponsored by Appleton, Hennessy, Express Window Tintin, Execution Sound, Best Dressed Chicken, Bar Metrics, Rush Edited Drink, and Kingsley Construction. Drink responsibly.
Eastern Seventh-day Adventist Church in association with the Pioneers Fire Adventure and Pathfinder Club presents So Will I, an evening of romance and creation's heartfelt praise. Come and hear the likes of Carrie Sales and all the local artists. December 2nd, 7 p.m. at the Ritz-Carlton Grand Cayman. Tickets only $150, available at the Seventh-day Adventist Conference Office and our local churches. It's an evening fit not to miss.
There's an old-time cultural gender-neutral saying that goes like this: once a man, twice a child. Children and the elderly are our more vulnerable citizens. They depend on the strong to get through the day. Child abuse and elderly abuse is never okay. You were once a child, and one day you too will hopefully become an elderly person. Stop the slap. Stop the cycle. Stop the violence.
The Stop the Slap campaign, proudly sponsored by Foster's IGA. Stop the slap. Stop the cycle. Stop the violence.
It's Foster's. When it comes to cooking for Christmas parties and baking sweet treats for the kids, there are some people who just get it and some people who just get lost. For those who get lost, let Tanya's Kitchen and Foster's IGA help. Tanya's deliciously easy recipes will wow your guests and leave you as famous as that one reindeer. Visit tanyaskitchen.ky for tons of delicious Christmas recipes and treats. And stop by your local Foster's IGA for all of the ingredients.
At Foster's Food Fair IGA, we care.
In financial news, world share prices are mixed ahead of a meeting between Presidents Donald Trump and Xi Jinping at the Group of 20 summit this weekend. Keeping score, the DAX in Germany fell 0.6% to 11,235, and France's CAC 40 lost half a percentage point to 4,981. Britain's FTSE 100 sank 0.8% to 6,983. The outlook for U.S. trading was clouded, with the future contract for the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 0.2% at 25,336, and S&P 500 futures down 0.3% at 2,735. Looking at Asia today, Japan's Nikkei 225 index climbed 0.4% at 22,351, and the Hang Seng in Hong Kong added 0.2% at 26,506. The Shanghai Composite Index jumped 0.8% at 2,588, while South Korea's Kospi fell 0.8% to 2,096. In energy, benchmark U.S. crude lost 22 cents to $51.23 per barrel in electronic trading on the New York Mercantile Exchange. It rose 2.3% to finish at $51.45 a barrel on Thursday. Brent crude gave up 8 cents to $59.83 per barrel. It edged up 1.3% to $59.51 a barrel in London. And in currencies, the dollar slid to 113.45 yen from 113.48 on Thursday. The euro slipped to 1.1373 from 1.1391.
CUC advises customers in West Bay that they will experience interruptions to their electrical service for no more than 2 20-minute periods on Tuesday, December 4th between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. Customers on Hell Road between the junction with Watercourse Road and Hell Gift Shop and all side roads should note that they will be without electrical service for the entire period between 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Areas affected on Hell Road include Bonfire Close, Caboose Lane, Miss Daisy Lane, and all side roads. Motorists are asked to drive with caution when utilizing Hell Road and Watercourse Road, as CUC will have a number of vehicles and personnel in this area. CUC apologizes for this interruption, which is necessary to allow telecommunication companies to provide customers with fiber optic service and our customers with safe, reliable, and efficient power. For more information on the outage and areas and streets affected, please contact CUC's customer service team at 949-5200 or email service@cuc.ky.
Matt Brown and Rita Estevanovich star in the Cayman Christmas Comedy Show. A gift from the CNCF to you. Yay! Christmas comedy show. I am excited.
Well, I don't want to see it.
Too bad. You're in it.
Me in a show?
It's the bestest, most festivus Christmas show ever. Coming to your district between December 11th to 16th. Visit Facebook/Cayman Culture for all the details. Yes, I am going. Definitely I am going.
Hopscotch Entertainment presents tribute to two of the island's greatest bands, Memory of Justice and Humble and the Meek, featuring special guest Freddie Jackson. Alongside special guest Naomi Cohen. This December 7th, 8 p.m. sharp at the Lion Center. Admission is free. Admission is totally free. Featuring special guests Rex and Impulse Band, Lammy Seymour, Edward Solomon, Regeneration Band, Molly and Brian, Gerald Rankin, Dexter Bodden, and Fire Squad. Donations are accepted. Sponsored by the Ministry of Culture, Miracle Brokers, Digicel, Radio Cayman, The Lobster Pot, JN Money Transfer, and the Cayman Islands Music Association. Freddie Jackson, live in concert, Friday, December 7th at the Lion Center. You are my lady.
Your weather update after 8 is brought to you by Brand Source Home Gallery, creating elegant bathrooms with European-style fixtures and fittings.
Pleasant good morning. Time now for the latest weather report. Current temperature is 79 degrees. Relative humidity is 89%. Barometric pressure 30.00 inches and rising. The wind is out of the east at 11 knots. Overnight low temperature was 78. Synopsis indicate isolated showers along with moderate easterly winds and seas expected for the next 24 hours as a quasi-stationary front lingers over the Cayman area and its associated high-pressure system builds over the southeast United States. Radar images show isolated showers east and south of Grand Cayman moving towards the west. Another forecast for the Cayman Islands for today, calling for partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers, and temperatures will be in the mid-80s today. Your winds will be east to southeast 10 to 15 knots with higher gust, and seas will be moderate to rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet, and small craft should exercise caution over open water. Tonight, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers mainly over the sister islands of Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. And temperatures falling to the mid-70s. Your winds will be east to southeast 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Low tide will be this morning at 10:40, high tide this afternoon at 4:53, and a low tide again tonight at 11:33. The sun will set this evening at 5:45 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:43. And the outlook is calling for a decrease in cloudiness from tomorrow afternoon as the front retrogresses north of the Cayman area and for the high pressure to move over the western Atlantic Ocean.
Weather update after 8 is brought to you by Brand Source Home Gallery, creating elegant bathrooms with European-style fixtures and fittings.
Brand Source Home Gallery has been appointed the exclusive Cayman supplier for Duravit bathroom products. Duravit is the leading international manufacturer of bathroom ceramics, tubs and showers, recognized around the world for beautiful, functional products. Winner of top industry awards, Duravit collaborates with leading European designers to provide the most elegant and innovative bath products. If you're ready to bring style, comfort and innovation to your bathroom, visit Brand Source Home Gallery to see the new Duravit showroom and meet the in-house bath designer. Whether you're planning a functional family bathroom or a personal spa retreat, browse the Duravit collection and be inspired. Brand Source Home Gallery, delivering a new standard in custom designed bathrooms. Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Cayman National would like to invite you to their 16th annual Home for the Christmas event, Tuesday, December 4th at 6 p.m. at their Elgin Avenue location. Celebrate the meaning of Christmas and ring in the holiday season with charity donations and festive performances by UCCI Pandemics, the Cayman Arts Festival, and Dream Chasers Cayman. Light refreshments will be served. Join Cayman National as they bring the community together this December 4th at 6 p.m. for the Home for the Christmas event.
Top of the morning to you once again, and time to take a look what's happening traffic-wise. On Cool Road, steady but flowing traffic. And traffic as you approach the Linford Pearson Highway, busy traffic, so slight delays anticipated as you head on down to Georgetown. Coming off Bobby Thompson Way, moderate flow of traffic and traffic flowing light to moderate from the West Bay four-way stop. And in and out of Georgetown, things looking pretty good as traffic is light to moderate. Light traffic on Owen Roberts Drive. And on Edward Street, in front of the Georgetown Post Office, traffic is moving along light to moderate. And moderate flow of traffic on the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz. And traffic flowing moderately on North Sound Road. Now, if you see any incidents or accidents on Cayman's roads, give us a call here at Radio Cayman, 949-6990. Have a good morning and safe driving, Cayman Islands.
Kirk Home Center is your holiday season headquarters. From tabletop to 7-foot-tall Christmas trees, tree skirts, rugs, garland, and wreaths, to traditional lights and icicle lights for indoor and outdoor use, and LED outdoor scenic spotlights. Ornaments like shatterproof balls and treetop stars, and holiday accent pieces like candles, diffusers, and nativity sets, tablecloths, glasses, mugs, and more. Get it all from Kirk Home Center, your holiday season headquarters.
From happy beginnings to happy ever after,
Brit K protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
Health insurance with far-reaching benefits.
95% of claims settled in 5 days.
Low-cost life insurance.
And investments.
Security in retirement.
With a custodian pension plan.
For happy beginnings and a happy ever after,
visit BritK.ky or call 949-8699.
Brit K, where people come first.
In local sports, after a fruitful showing at the Gasparilla Fall Invitational in Lakeland, Florida, the Cayman's Motions Unlimited girls competitive gymnastics team is now looking at other competitions. Gymnastics girls coach Allison Laidler says the girls have a very competitive season ahead.
December 8th, we're having our kind of holiday festival, and that is from 2:30 to 4:30. And basically all the team kids, that's about 45 of them, they're going to be showcasing their routines on every single event. It's not judged, but it kind of gives the kids a sense of, this is how a competition is run, especially for some of the kids that have never competed before. And then along with that, we also have, for the girls, in January, we have Metroplex, and that is a pretty good competition. It's also attached to it is a college meet, so it's a good experience for the kids to get to go watch the college kids and kind of look up to them. Also, in February, we have the Gasparilla Classic, and that will be all the boys, all the girls team. That's about 3,000 to 5,000 kids that compete in that. So we do that one every year, and it's always a really good meet.
The girls, along with the boys team, will compete in the 2019 Bermuda International Challenge on March 15th through the 17th.
Initiating system.
For information that matters, For the Record with Orrett Connor continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning, and welcome back to For the Record. It seems as if we may be having some issues with our live streaming, and I think we are aware of that, and we will be working on that as quickly as possible. But if you want to, you can certainly subscribe to Radio Cayman live stream and follow us on YouTube as well. And I want to remind you of the numbers that you can call in if you want to be engaged in the conversation as well. Our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990. Also email, For the Record, at candw.ky. But our live streaming capabilities are hampered at this point in time, and we certainly apologize to that. If you don't know, we do have in the studio with us the leader of the opposition, the Honorable D. Ezard Miller, and we're talking about several topics as we go. I think we were talking a little bit about his district, and I have one more question in relation to the district, and that has to do with the Starfish Point, colloquially known as Starfish Point. I think it's about Ivory Point or otherwise. That's what's on the side.
In the water key.
In the water key. What's happening with that?
Well, we had
the planning. The planning's permission that is being sought.
Planning has to set a date now to deal with those who have objected to the facility being built.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, we're starting a petition for people, anybody who goes and uses the facility, to sign in support of it. I'm hoping that when planning holds the hearing, which is required by law, that I will be allowed to, as the client, having asked the Minister of Tourism, etc., to provide this facility, to speak on behalf of the people in the house that I represent, because, under the planning law and its regulations, I have no role in the planning. I can't just go in and speak globally, so to speak, as a representative from the district.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be an adjoining landowner within 500 feet. Luckily, that as we dig deeper into it, it only seems that there are 5 or 6 people who can legally object. I'm hoping that the planning board will simply tell the others to, go fly a kite, because they have circulated it to 100+ people,
mm-hmm.
asking them to all sign this chain letter and send it into planning. If that happens, then the hearing could be, rather, quickly. In lieu of them not being informed prior to, and then I'm going to fill the government houses with people from North Side.
Mm-hmm.
If I have to hire a couple of buses to bring people in, because you have a public gallery in the CPA board meetings now, Central Planning Authority board meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So while all of those North Side people who use the facility and all the people from the rest of the island who use the facility cannot object and speak, we certainly can, go with a silent protest and just put the numbers there to show that, this is a facility, one that is needed, two, that the people of Northside in particular want to have, because, we want the facility. This whole facility came about because the developer at the time was selling 12 to 14 lots on the end of that key to one person, and they wanted to put up this huge wall that you see there now.
Yes.
There's a wall there now,
and
a huge gate, right?
And a gate, yeah.
So I said, well, we have a right, that road goes to the sea. We have a right to have a right away to the beach. So I'm not going to acquiesce to this wall and this gate in my constituency unless we get a lot as a public beach, which the developer quite readily handed over to us, and it was transferred to Crown land. This is not a situation where there is land that is set aside for public purposes. This is Crown land that was given to the Crown by the developer specifically for a public beach. So all the objections is that we shouldn't have a public beach there and we don't need a restroom facility and all the other garbage that they're talking about boil down to one thing. And I have some concern because I don't want to go any further down that road of a them and us and them believing that we don't have no rights to come down there, you know? So what I always...
The dams are much smaller than the us.
Right, in this case, yes. Right? It should be us's, right? Plural. So I'm trying to avoid that, taking the discussion down that thing. But it is obvious from the tone and the way they're objecting. Listen, these people are objecting because we were using red shingles on the roof, and they thought green shingles would meld better with the trees and stuff. I wouldn't have a problem with that. For instance, one of the people who was there at the meeting from that area suggested that, one of the things she'd like to see put there is recycling bins. That's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that to the government, and we have a proper garbage area for a skip. So I'm going to say, listen, can we put in a recycling skips around here as well? And I don't think I'll have any objection from the Department of Tourism and the Ministry of Health to do that. But it's just one of those unfortunate things that, I call them the drawbridge tourists. They come here and they have a piece of land down and they say they think they own the whole island. They don't want anybody else to come.
Well, if our Daybreakers cycling group we use it. On Sundays, that's one of the areas that we stop. I think by then we have about 30-something, maybe 40-something miles in by the time we reach there, and we stop there, take a break, have a little snack, whatever we have in our pocket. So if you're in that area after 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning, we can sign it.
Okay, all right.
Now, the area that you're talking about is when you enter the cul-de-sac there, right to the left, where all of those weep and willow trees are.
You see how we cleared
area?
out, people can park.
Yes.
Because what was happening, people were parking on the road, and then they were having traffic problems because a lot of tourists use it.
Yes.
And we want to make it as comfortable and clean and stuff. And then they put up all these silly objections. Well, the septic tank might be up to standard, right? I wonder how many septic tanks in Cayman are up to standard.
But don't they have houses there that there's one house that has just recently been constructed? I shouldn't say a house, a mansion, a huge one. They don't have septic tanks?
Of course they do. But the government wouldn't be up to their standard, really. The government has to comply with the same standard that they comply with. And you remember, most of these people, for instance, they don't respect the road right-of-ways. If their fence is in the road, then they plant trees between the fence and the road.
That's why the road can be paved now, because a lot of their fences are in the roads. Yes.
You'll notice some little PVC pipe with some red flags on it.
Yes.
I'm saying, and the NRA has agreed with me, we are not going to repair that road until we locate the road properly. And all of those people who put their hedges in the road so people can walk in the middle of the road, they have to move it, or NRA can move it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Once we locate it properly, because the risk and liability and all sorts of stuff is involved in that. But they believe that I was told the other day by one of them that I need to understand that this is a residential community. That's my problem. It is a residential community, and people walk from house to house.
Yes.
Right? Nothing aggravates me more than that sign there on the way in that says, please walk on the other side of the road, because the government refused to cut down this hedge that's in the road.
Yes.
Just take the grader down and take it out. So we're doing now, Lands and Survey have done most of the surveying. By now, the NRA should have served the notice. We hope to do the early part of next year to actually do as far as the junction with Finger Key.
Okay.
And the first phase, and then we'll get to the phase done. But it's they can't do those kind of things in where they come from. Oh, but they come down here and figure, well, we can do it, you know. And then
and we certainly appreciate them being here. And most of them are part-time residents. They come down, they're seasonal dwellers here and stuff like that. And we certainly appreciate them, but they have to realize that they need to cooperate. They have to live amongst us and
follow the law.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I heard one of them tell a fisherman the other day that he couldn't anchor off their house and clean the fish in salt water. I mean, anyway, so hopefully we're going to overcome the objections and get the facility started early in the new year. And it shouldn't take no more than about 3 months. And we're not, we're not putting in paved parking lots and all that. It'll probably be some gravel or something, just because of the sand.
You leave it as rustic as it is now, but
and it's going to be nice. It's a nice facility that they've designed, and it's handicap rate and all that sorts of stuff. So, their argument is that because there's a restroom facility at the Cayman, they don't need another one.
But the restroom facility at the Cayman is for Cayman's guests.
They're at the Cayman Public Beach. But they're
the beach.
You ride it every day, 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah.
And you practice yoga while you walk 3/4 of a mile. It's a hole in your.
And I must say that there are many residents who, on a Sunday morning, we cross. So many people either jogging or families walking in there in the mornings as well.
And then we're just trying to do what's right, because that's the right thing to do if you have a public beach there. Because a lot of people, the tourism department advertise Starfish Point, and a lot of people go and look for it. I was embarrassed, I guess about a year ago now. I was pulling up my little boat at the Cayman, and the man came up to me and asked me, where's Starfish Point? And I said, there's no Starfish Point around here. I said, if you want to see starfish, I can tell you where you can see starfish. So I took him, showed him up in further north. But now I was talking to my brother, and he said, you fool you, that's what they renamed Ira Point. It's now called Starfish Point. So that's what the tourism department.
We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we're going to talk about the upcoming constitutional talks in the UK with Mr. Honourable D. Ezard Miller, Leader of the Opposition. So please stay tuned.
A trip to New York City is the experience of a lifetime. Starting this December, Cayman Airways will be offering daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman to New York City. That's right, Cayman Airways is going daily to New York City starting this December. Stroll through Central Park or take in the bright lights of Times Square, enjoy a Broadway show or visit museums, the Empire State Building, and so much more. Whether you're visiting for business or pleasure, you'll fall in love with New York City. And daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman aboard Cayman Airways starting this December. For details and to book, call Cayman Airways reservations at 949-2311. Contact a travel agent or visit CaymanAirways.com.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, formerly known as Professional Pharmacy, would like to thank the Cayman communities for their loyal support these past 18 years. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care. Thorough background checks and follow-up consultations is only the beginning. Your safety is our concern. Our staff are respected healthcare professionals whose job requires careful and precise calculations. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, where we prepare to provide exceptional care. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we care about your health.
You remember the sale at Vant Motors?
Yeah, the Your Sale, Your Choice. The one where you can get cash back or can put the savings to extend the warranty or upgrade features?
Yes, it's still going on. But now you can get $8,000 off a new Ford Ranger truck. $8,000, you know?
You for real?
Come see for yourself. While they still have so much to choose from, save big during Your Sale, Your Choice at Vant Motors. With almost every vehicle on sale, you decide whether to get your dream ride at its lowest price. Take cash back, add years to the warranty or service plan. Choose an add-on or mix your options. Your sale, your choice, because you know what you need, and Vant Motors will help you drive it home. Vant Motors on Walkers Road. Royal Palms celebrates 20 years. Toes in the Sand. This Friday, November 30th, featuring soca star Alison Hines. The return of DJ Alexi alongside DJ Lynn, DJ Yo-Yo, Andrew Priest, Marvin Brooks, and local bands. Kicking off from 5 p.m. happy hour. Tickets only $25. Available at Royal Palms, Funky Tags, Big Daddy's, Blackbeard's Liquor Stores, and eventpro.ky. $30 at the gate. Royal Palms celebrates 20 years this Friday with Corona, Absolute, Monster Media, and you. Toes in the sand.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record with your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me none other than Honorable Diaz Miller, Leader of the Opposition, discussing various topics here on For the Record. And we want to go to the topic now, the issue of the constitutional talks in the UK. The Joint Ministerial Council will take place first, and I believe, Mr. Miller, the first meeting is scheduled to take place on Friday the 7th of December, and then continue on Monday the 10th of December.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Yes. Yeah. The preliminary discussions on Friday for about an hour or two, and then get into the main talks on Monday, and then we return to Cayman on the Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, some of the people that speak to me about these constitutional talks are a bit alarmed and concerned about what they're about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, what these talks are about is finding a way to amend the Constitution to enhance or improve the governance of Cayman by Caymanians for Caymanians.
Mm-hmm.
That's the framework around which my discussions with the Premier have taken place.
Yes.
And in truth, the Premier agrees with that situation, and I support the things that he's trying to get more control by Caymanians of, which will improve the governance of the country. Because it is important that we, the people's elected representatives, have control and the say over our domestic affairs, you know, our internal affairs as it would be under the Constitution. And the things that we are asking for is just to provide, to use language of a former governor, belts and braces in an effort to improve the governance of Cayman by Caymanians for Caymanians. So I'm comfortable having a discussion about it, and the Premier has agreed, and he said so in his statement in the Legislative Assembly. When we find out from these preliminary talks what England and the UK, which have the final say, are minded to let us do, the changes that they are minded to let us make, then there will be a motion moved by him in the Legislative Assembly suggesting those changes, and there will be a public debate. And I don't know what the Premier is going to do with his the members of his government, but I've already said to the leaders of the opposition that it's a free vote. Nobody doesn't have to vote the way I vote. It's a conscience vote. I think all matters on the Constitution in the Legislative Assembly should be a conscience vote, and feel free to get up and disagree within the sections that we are attended, because it's important to have the dialogue. Sometimes, you know, we just have to raise the other side of the issue, even if the issue that is being put forward is the one that we want to succeed. It is important for the public to understand the process of getting there, because from where I sit, that's what's missing in government now, is any kind of factual analysis and process. You know, we have the dock, Cayman Airways, the airport. None of this seems to be based on any facts or any historical data or within the future projections. It's all somewhere in Never Never Land, because we have the government-owned statistics that say we don't need a dock, right? And they're being ignored. We have serious concerns about the financial position of Cayman Airways and the move to these more expensive and newer aircraft, and what potential that has to ruin Cayman Airways.
Speaking of Cayman Airways, one of our guests on a previous show, I think, inquired as to whether or not we would be owning those planes or whether or not they would be leased. Do you have any information on that?
The original position that the public kind of got was that it was a lease to own. The information, which was nebulous given in Finance Committee last week, was that it's a straight lease, but they have the ability to sublet. Now, that tells me right away that they know that there's a good possibility that they're not going to be able to utilize these planes to their maximum capacity. So why build? If these planes are the right plane for the route, they are going to produce all of these savings on fuel, etc., etc. Why would you want to build in the ability to sublet them? Because if you sublet them, even if it's only for the period you're not using them, that's very difficult to do, right? So it's too much fancy stuff. And having lived this in the 90s when I was in the government, you will recall, we at those days we moved from the 727s that we owned to basically a brand new 737-400s, which we leased. And in, 18 months or less, the leasing company had to come and get them because the airline couldn't afford them, although government was constantly injecting money, $2-3 million at a time, to keep it afloat. And then you look at the hard, cold facts. And listen, nobody supports Cayman Airways or understands that Cayman Airways contributes to the economy, and there are a lot of Caymanians who rely on Cayman Airways to have to pay their bills and feed their family. But my concern here, I want to make sure it's sustainable.
Yes.
I want to make sure it's there 4 or 5 years from now. And we have to stop mismanaging the airline. You cannot tell me, OC, that you have an airline that starts off with $16 million on the books in government and debt. Now they told us it was $30 million, not 16. First question I've asked, well, why are you reporting 16 in the government accounts? You're not reporting the rest. Some of that might be loans, We're injecting $12.5 million equity, specifically to pay loans, to pay debt. But at the end of the year, still $16 million in debt. The income and expense projects a $4.5 million loss this financial year, 2018. Now, that's in a financial year where you're not paying any lease, right? Because we basically own the aircraft that we have. Yes, you might argue that these older generation aircraft may burn more fuel, they make higher maintenance stuff. But if you're losing $4.5 million, right, and your revenue, according to them, is down 5% for this year, and we know that, I know because I called Cayman Airways personally on the same finance committee to book a passage for my family to go to Miami. And I was shocked to hear that we no longer have a midday flight to Miami. We've cut back on the daily flights from Miami from 3 to 2. And that can only be for one reason, that's load factor, right? The other side of it is that, and I inquired about the price, and to my shock, I got it written down right there when I called them, to go to Miami on a Wednesday and come back on a Friday, midweek, $439.21.
Okay.
I went on
U.S.
I went on American Airlines website Wednesday, go to Miami, come back Friday, basically within a half hour departure and arrival time, $336 US, $103 cheaper.
Yeah. That's not competitive at all. That's not being competitive.
And we can't argue that before you could say, well, yeah, you're paying a little more, but we were getting bags free. Now you're paying for your bags, so that's gone. And in that environment, I get chastised by the minister that we need to support Cayman Airways. This thing that I support Cayman Airways, right? But we got to face the facts, right? where is the $8 to $10 million going to come from next year to service the lease payments on these two planes? They can't tell me, when you ask them, well, did you do a business case to determine that this is the best plane? Yeah, well, okay. What are the planes that you consider? None. Mm-hmm. That's not a business case. You're just writing up some stuff to justify what you want to do. And that's not how you do business case. We should have looked at other manufacturers, other types of planes, even earlier generations. There are many generations of the 737 between 300 and 800, right? None of that apparently was done. So one has to wonder, what is the basis? Just because we want to have the newest fleet in the Caribbean, well, they're not going to last very long, because there was an article in the Observer newspaper on Wednesday that Caribbean Airlines has ordered 12.
Yes.
Right? So, and then to tell me that you're getting this plane 50% below market value, again, too good to be true. Mm-hmm. Too good to be true.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we're going to stay with Cayman Airways a little bit more, because we want to ask the question as to do you know what happens to the aircraft that we currently have now? What happens with them when the new fleet comes into operation as well? Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Not all insurance is created equal, but who has the time to shop around? Take the guesswork out of your insurance coverage with Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Let us match you with the best coverage to suit your needs at a price to suit your wallet. Plus, get superior customer service from dedicated claims professionals to ensure speedy claims processing. Get your insurance through Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Call us today at 949-7822 for a free quote. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Treat your home this year with a Christmas chair sale at Edie's Decor, with up to 20% off select porcelain and ceramic tiles, 15% off commercial and residential carpets, and tint specials with tiles as low as $10 per box and mosaics only $5. The Christmas chair sale at Edie's Decor this Friday 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. and Saturday 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. only. Cash or credit card payments only. All sales are final. Edie's Decor, located on 64 Eastern Avenue, or you can call them at 949-6348.
The Intertrust Cayman Islands Marathon takes place this Sunday, December 2nd, starting at 5 a.m. Organizers are requesting the public's assistance and cooperation in the following.
On your marks, get set.
Between the hours of 5 a.m. and 10 a.m., please keep traffic to a minimum on South Sound and Walkers Road. Watch out for the runners, walkers, and wheelchairs on the road. Be kind to them. Keep your dogs inside your yard. Please help us to make our runners experience a safe and enjoyable one. Call 329-4480 for more information. This public service announcement is brought to you by Radio Cayman.
Initiating system.
For information that matters, For the Record with Orrett Connor continues right now on Radio Cayman. Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Honorable Diaz Miller, Leader of the Opposition. We're talking about Cayman Airways, but we're going to switch gears soon and go back to the constitutional talks, because I have a few questions in that regard as well. But the question that I posed before we went to the commercial break, what happens with the current aircraft that are in operation for Cayman Airways? And the other part of that question also is that we see our neighbors in the Eastern Caribbean, some of them struggling. There are LIAT, their airlines. They're the nationalist subsidized airline owned by several Eastern Caribbean countries, having difficulties.
In the past, Cayman Airways has had relationships with islands like the Turks and Caicos, providing service to them. Should we start looking elsewhere to provide services for those countries that are struggling with those issues?
Those are possibilities. You will recall that one of the things we did to try to up the utilization of the 400s in the 90s was that we had an agreement with the Turks Island government, and we would provide them with a almost deal, if I remember flight, and they guaranteed a certain number of seats. In other words, just to pick a number, if we didn't get 50 seats, they would pay up the difference between what we had and 50. And that seemed to have been working good until they had a change in government and they just cancelled it, right? But my concern is the financial state of Cayman Airways and the sustainability to it. And like I said, I am not against Cayman Airways. I've supported Cayman Airways all of my political life. But there comes a point in time when we have to say, listen, management and board, you have a responsibility to improve this situation. And you need to tell us how we're going to improve it. Don't tell me this garbage that, well, because this plane is big and it can go further, we can develop new routes which we're going to make money from. We know that all of that is going to be subsidized by government. And those new long routes is just another way of extracting additional subsidy from government. Because remember now that we don't call it subsidy anymore, We call it strategic tourism development routes, remember? Right? But when you look at the net worth of public authorities, right? Cayman Airways' net worth at the start of this financial year was minus $21 million.
Minus?
Minus. We put in $12.6 million in equity injection. The projected loss this year is $4.5 million. So we are going to wind up the projected position and net worth of Cayman Airways at the end of this financial year is $13.5 million minus. Now, again, we know that government guarantees it, so it's okay. But with that kind of my concern is that $4.5 million loss. Because remember, there was a big celebration here, but it was last year and the year before, that they had made profit, right? Now, what has caused them to go from making a profit? I think last year, if I remember, they projected something like $5 million profit. Part of that was the subsidy that we gave them anyway. But you've gone now from a profit last year to a $4.5 million negative in a year when you're not paying leases on equipment. And even if we say that the new planes are going to save, I don't know, pick a number, 10% of your revenue, and the CEO tells me in finance committee that the additional revenue that the new planes are going to come up, plus the savings in fuel and savings in maintenance and stuff, is going to offset the $8 to $10 million. Well, show me the numbers, right? Don't tell me that you haven't calculated what your fuel savings is going to be on a Miami flight, right? On all your flights. So you should be able to give me a number that says this is the fuel saving for the financial year, right? Because if you're done in a kind of detailed analysis and acquiring these planes, right, is the thing. But when you tell me in the same breath, answer to another question, that your revenue for this year is down 5%, now I really get frightened, right? Because if you're not filling your planes now, right, which is a smaller plane, where are the people going to get? Where are you going to get the people to fill the plane? And we know that not what Cayman Airways will tell you, but most, if you look at their accounts, and you dig a little bit, you can find out that they're close to profitable route, if it exists, is the Jamaica route. Cuba was high, but with the Obama liberation of airlines going there, yes. I went to Cuba a couple of Wednesdays ago, and there were 200 people on the flight. I came back Sunday, and before you couldn't get on a Sunday flight coming out of Cuba, the plane wasn't full. If you're not filling the 300s, where are you going to get the 45 or 50 other passengers to fill the bigger plane? And have you done an analysis on a smaller plane that is equally efficient, that you can fill, and if you overfill it, if you have over demand, then you put in more frequent flights, right? Because planes don't make any money parked on the runway,
ground, yeah.
right? Mm-hmm. So what we need is planes that we can fill up on our regular routes, right? We can utilize on the long routes, and they exist, they are available. And if the demand is about that, let's go back to the Jamaica route. We know that there's huge demand in the Jamaica runs in the months of June and July. Students coming over, going back at the end of August, early September. This month now, December,
January,
right?
People coming back. Mm-hmm.
We can put in 2 flights a day. We have done that in the past, right? But if you have a big plane and it's half empty, what's the use? Mm-hmm. Where's the savings? And my concern is that deja vu. We did this in the 90s. It did not work. Making this kind of quantum leap into modern aircraft and larger planes, So I'm concerned for the people who work for Cayman Airways, the rank and file, because management is making these decisions. I get plenty concerns by rank and file that don't think this is the right decision to make.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we have a question from one of our listeners. Good morning. I would like to find out the views of Mr. Miller and his party on the proposed development at Barker's Beach, in particular the removal of almost 189,000 square feet of turtle grass and the construction of a 300-foot dock in this marine park replenishment zone. We all realize that if this approval is granted by Cabinet, that we can expect further applications of this nature.
I personally am 100% opposed to it. I heard on another radio show a statement from DART that indicated that the restrictions in a replenishment zone were less than a marine park. That's not so. Replenishment zones are much more restrictive. And there's no need to do that. And we have people now, the cruise passengers seem to complain and they show the complaints by walking on the side of the road to get to 7 Mile Beach. They can't walk Barkas, right? And the fare to Barkas is going to have to be at least twice, if not 3 times, what it is to go to the existing location for Calico Jacks. So I don't support it at all.
Okay.
And my concern is that if you set the precedent, then you can't stop developer 2, 3, 4, and 5 from doing the same thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's going to ruin the area, no question about that.
The other one says, good morning. The same money argument, the save money argument is not convincing. The efficiencies, and this is speaking about the aircraft, the efficiencies they speak of are in fuel per person. You only see those efficiencies on flights over 80% full on longer haul flights. 80% of Cayman Airways flights are about 60% full and less than 1.5 hours. My prediction is, with the higher monthly costs, using a larger plane to carry the same 70 people will cost more in fuel, as most fuel is used on takeoff, and this is a larger, heavier aircraft. In addition to the higher lease costs, the MAX 8 will actually be less efficient. To fill that plane, they will have to reduce fares and run longer routes. So good old Caymanian common sense and wise business practice dictates that we will see such initiatives, fare specials and announcements of longer routes after the first 2 quarters of tremendous unsustainable losses. Interesting. Very interesting. This person is echoing what you're saying.
Yeah. And I mean, the information I have from considered educated people in the airline industry is that you don't get the fuel efficiencies until you're flying at least 2.5, 3 hours in those planes. And they're certainly not made for these kind of short hops that we have,
Mm-hmm.
So I hope and pray it works out. But,
yes, we all
but
do.
The facts are facing us in the face, and we just need to admit that these facts that we have before us does not dictate that this is the plane we should be getting. There are other alternatives out there by other manufacturers that would be more suitable for this, for Cayman Airways route structure. Mm-hmm. When I asked the question in the Legislative Assembly, did your business plan, your business case, determine that this was the best plane for your existing route structure? Right? And they couldn't answer that question. They came up with some fancy stuff. Well, what it really does is allow us to go broader field and more expansion.
So we are where we are now. So we're going to have the plane. So the adjustments are going to have to be made now. And I think that caller,
she's coming in, I understand, today, fully loaded from Seattle, because we've paid a lot of people passage up together to go up and come down there for free.
Okay. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back.
It's hard to justify that losing $4.5 million, but
for the record, we'll be back immediately after headline news at 9 o'clock. So please stay tuned.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
The Department of Environment is urging members of the public to abide by the national conservation laws. Cayman's lobster season opens tomorrow. It will span the 3 months, December 1st through February 28th. For more information, head to doe.ky. Ukraine will not allow Russian men aged 16 to 60 into the country following the imposition of martial law. An exception would be made for, quote, humanitarian cases, such as those traveling to funerals. Russia says it's not planning any retaliatory measures. Martial law has been imposed in 10 Ukrainian regions until December 26th. The move came amid fears of a Russian invasion after Russian forces seized 3 Ukrainian vessels and 24 sailors in the Black Sea last Sunday. And world leaders are gathering in Argentina for their annual G20 summit amid new tension with Russia over Ukraine and a U.S. trade row with China. U.S. President Donald Trump has canceled a meeting with his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin in protest of Russia's seizure of Ukrainian naval boats. Hopes of progress over tariffs and Mr. Trump's expected talks with Chinese leader Xi Jinping have also been dampened. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record. With Orrett Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In studio with me this morning, Honorable Diaz Miller, Leader of the Opposition. We have 2 callers. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C. Good morning to you and to Mr. Miller.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am very well. I'm always happy and refreshed to hear Mr. Miller on the radio because he's a man that speaks from an informed position. Speaking about Cayman Airways, Cayman Airways is the airline of my choice, and I will never stop supporting Cayman Airways. But I recently made I called the travel agency that I normally use to make a reservation, and I normally fly business class. So, in speaking to the representative, they said that there was no business class available for the outgoing flight. However, it was available for the incoming flight. I said, okay, fine. So I said, well, if you're in a position, would you kindly get me in a row, sort of like row 4, because I know they normally reserve row 3 for their I guess preferred flyers, so to speak, if there's such a thing. The airline normally reserves row 3. So the lady said to me, she said, I can't. She said, because Cayman Airways, in their wildest wisdom, they block from row 6 all the way up to row 3, and we are not allowed to put passengers in those seats. And I said, well, hang on, why are they doing that? Well, the honest reason you can come up with is that they're blocking it for their staff. That's what they're doing. Realistically speaking, that's what they're blocking it for their staff. I never forget one night I was coming back from Miami, and when I got to County in Miami, I like I said, I fly business class, and I asked if I could get a window seat. They said, "Oh no, you can't get a window seat. That's all gone." When I got on the plane, it was one of their managers flying the window seat. Now here I am paying. I'm paying, I am paying for my seat. Yet they're putting their staff in wherever they want to go, and those of us who are paying have no recourse. Okay, have absolutely no recourse whatsoever. So until some government gets the Cayman Airways and says to them, listen, hey, look, you're going to start turning a profit. You need $3 million subsidy. We're going to give you $3.5 million subsidy. But after the end of that subsidy time, you can't come and show us where you turn the profit. Come with your resignation in hand. Then the likes of the director now will change. It will change. It is time that we stand up. It's taxpayers' money just going to hell in a handbasket with these people. See, Mr. Miller, when you run a company that you have the luxury of knowing that if you go in the red,
somebody's going to bail you out. Yes.
Green, you will always be in the red. And until some government get the cojones, and I tell you what, I speak with conviction that if Mr. Miller ever becomes in that position, somebody going to be accountable for it from the way that I know of him and how he deals with things. Somebody will be accountable. So it is time that we put these people in the position they should be in, and you can't show us a profit. You can't show us prudent management. Bring your resignation and come into us. Come and see us now. Bring your resignation and let's carry on business as usual.
Yep. Caller, I'm going to ask you to leave us there. We have a few more callers lined up, but very, very good points that you've raised as well. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
I'm very thankful and highly blessed. Good morning, Mr. Miller.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Oh, I'm so thankful. I'm so glad to hear you on there.
Okay, I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to hear from you, too. That means you're doing well.
Listen good to me now.
Yes.
I can leave my phone number, and I do know that you have it right, but you may have so many that you might find mine.
Uh-huh.
I can leave my number with students for you.
Okay.
I can need you to call me, but I can tell you the reason why. I can make it short. About the cynical.
Again?
No, listen, not again and again with me, that is. They got to get, something got to be said and done from in the LA concerning them. Now, I listen to Radio Cayman. I backs about with me. Hear what I'm saying, though?
Yes, ma'am.
And listen, I hear about the big parliament that they got all that again. But what they need to do now with people like me and more than me, who is an indigent, and a lot of the time that they do have a lot of the medication that you need to have. And when you got burden from the private pharmacist, and if you don't carry that receipt in before 6 months, you don't get your money back. So that's one good part of it. But the best part about it is when you're going to go to another doctor, and they can keep the one that they give you for the medication. This is where you got to pay for yourself now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Such as health, they don't know what I'm talking about. Okay? My situation in March was so bad and it's still bad. But then, I'll tell you the rest on that later. But about this part, yeah. Okay. The customer service is so bad at the office that when I carry the receipt, okay? I can tell you right now about the one for the health center, which was in March. But I took in those receipts in May. Okay. They kept the one where I got the medication that I had to pay for.
Right.
But the one that I had to pay to see the doctor, they put that back at me and it nearly fell on the floor after saying, "What is this?" I said, "That's where I had to pay to see the doctor. Where's the referral?" I said, "If I had a referral, I wouldn't have a receipt."
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I can leave it right there, but I can leave my number now.
Yeah, do that.
Thank you.
And I'll call you this morning when I get out of here.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. Few more calls. I think all of the phone bank is all filled up now. Next caller. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C.
Hey, good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Mr. Miller.
Morning, sir.
I can pose a question to start with.
Okay.
Did you two know that Cayman Airways made a profit at one stage?
Yeah, Mr. Miller mentioned that this morning.
He talked about a real profit way back when.
And when they sold them 2 planes, within 2 months, we would own them outright. Did you know that?
Yeah, I was there.
Okay, all right then. So I remember when they released them 2 state of the art, they call them. For I believe it was like twice as much what we were paying for those 2 that we were buying. They said Gilbert asked where the money will come from to pay for that. You know what would answer? The state save on the fuel.
I remember.
And I remember right in answer, Gilbert McLean told him that if it burn water, he couldn't save that much. He's right in the answers there.
Yeah.
So from then on, that's where we went down the drain with Cayman Airways. Okay, that's my piece on it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You all have a good day. I didn't know Mr. Miller had mentioned it.
Yeah, I was there. I lived that.
Great.
I was in government.
Yep. Let's go to the next caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record. No one there at this point in time. Very comments. I was reading this article that you mentioned about CAL, not Cayman Airways,
right,
but Caribbean Airlines.
Right.
They talk about the fact that they had just made a turnaround as well in terms of becoming profitable and investing in these new generation aircraft as well. That seems to be the trend in airline business.
The difference is they're profitable and are losing $4.5 million.
Okay, I think a caller has returned. We can take that call before we go to the next break. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, I'd like to ask a question. This is about education, nothing to do with Cayman Airways.
Sure.
Question to Mr. Miller as well. I know he's involved with a school up in the East. What does he think about bringing back textbooks in school? Because my thing is, we're talking about recycling and everything, and all these papers that these kids are using in school, those can be recycled. It's a lot of papers. Bringing back textbook in school.
Absolutely. I've been fighting for it for 5 years.
Go ahead, caller. Wow. Go ahead, caller.
I've been fighting to get them back for 5 years because our children are learning in black and white, photocopied black and white. And half of the times, I think when Clifton Hunter School reopened for September, there was only 1 or 2 out of 5 to 7 photocopiers that were actually working.
Oh, well, that's my issue. And that's why I think another town I'm bringing up with Borden Town, they're discussing building a new school there. Why don't they put the money back into the one they have there? The teachers there have no little place to eat, nothing. Building all for the school. That's ridiculous. I mean, building a new school, refurbish the one that you have there. Give the teachers something. You know what I mean? They need a new hall So what is the government doing about that as well?
That hall has been promised now and been designed for probably 4 or 5 years, but it's not being built. But we can build a cruise port that we don't need for $300 million.
Thank you very much. Do you know if and when will it be built?
Well, if I was in the government, it would be built next year or earlier.
But
it's a matter of priorities, That's the problem. We have funds. It's just that they're using them for things like subsidizing Cayman Airways and overruns at the airport and designing for docks that we don't need.
Exactly. And then we're talking about our children. Our children are the future.
Absolutely.
And the teachers are there to teach them. They need somewhere they can eat, sit, and relax. So that's my 2 cents. And I wish they would really think about it.
Thank you very much, caller,
I'll
for
do all
that.
I can to help them think about it.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. Any more calls, Miss Susan? No more calls? We're going to take a commercial break now. When we return, we're going to switch back gears again and go back to the constitutional talks. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
A trip to New York City is the experience of a lifetime. Starting this December, Cayman Airways will be offering daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman to New York City. That's right, Cayman Airways is going daily to New York City starting this December. Stroll through Central Park or take in the bright lights of Times Square. Enjoy a Broadway show or visit museums, the Empire State Building, and so much more. Whether you're visiting for business or pleasure, you'll fall in love with New York City. And daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman aboard Cayman Airways starting this December. For details and to book, call Cayman Airways reservations at 949-2311. Contact a travel agent or visit CaymanAirways.com. You remember the sale at Vamp Motors?
Yeah, the Your Sale, Your Choice. The one where you can get cash back or can put the savings to extend the warranty or upgrade features?
Yes, it's still going on. But now you can get $8,000 off a new Ford Ranger truck. $8,000,
You for real?
Come see for yourself. While they still have so much to choose from, save big during Your Sale, Your Choice at Vamp Motors. With almost every vehicle on sale, you decide whether to get your dream ride at its lowest price. Take cash back, add years to the warranty or service plan. Choose an add-on or mix your options. Your sale, your choice, because you know what you need, and Vamp Motors will help you drive it home. Vamp Motors on Walkers Road.
The CMEA, in association with Marmee, are proud to present the Sounds of Love annual benefit concert this Saturday, December 1st, from 4 p.m. until 12 a.m. at the West Bay Heritage Park. Funds raised will benefit Stan O. Ebanks, and Miss Thelma Grant, the widow of the late Errol Skanky Grant. See live performances by Wild Knights, Dexter Bodden, Lionfish, Backbeat, Footloose, Regeneration, and more, all for only a $5 donation. The Sounds of Love benefit concert this Saturday, December 1st, at the West Bay Heritage Park.
Oh, this Christmas, Kirk Freeport is wishing everyone peace, love, joy, and $40,000 in prizes. Win one of the multiple $5,000 and $1,000 cash prizes just for shopping at your favorite Kirk Freeport store. Purchases of $100 before noon on Christmas Eve qualify for all remaining prize draws. There's even a Rolex watch prize draw on January 2nd, and loads of other great prizes. Peace, love, joy, and the island's biggest Christmas sweepstakes. Only from Kirk Freeport. Full details on KirkFreeport.com. Merry Christmas from Kirk Freeport.
Hopscotch Entertainment presents tribute to two of the island's greatest bands, Memory of Justice and Humble and the Meek, featuring special guest Freddie Jackson. Alongside special guest Naomi Cohen. This December 7th, 8 p.m. sharp at the Lion Center. Admission is free. Admission is totally free. Featuring special guests Rex and Impulse Band, Lammy Seymour, Edward Solomon, Regeneration Band, Molly and Brian, Gerald Rankin, Dexter Bodden, and Fire Squad. Donations are accepted. Sponsored by the Ministry of Culture, Miracle Brokers, Digicel, Radio Cayman, The Lobster Pot, JN Money Transfer, and the Cayman Islands Music Association. Freddie Jackson, live in concert, Friday, December 7th at the Lion Center. You are my lady.
Initiating system.
For information that matter, for the record, with Orrett Connor, continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We have one caller on hold and one WhatsApp message says, good morning, Mr. OC. I believe the fares to Jamaica are far too high for an hour's flight to any destination. You can pay an additional $50 or $60 more for a 3-hour flight to New York. I can't see the rationale. I believe if Jamaica is their highest returns, then they can do better with the rates to Jamaica. If they reduce the rates, I guarantee you that they will have a lot more people traveling on the Jamaica route with additional airlines. Can't say that I agree with that if they reduce the fares that you're going to have more people traveling, simply because people travel as a result of necessity in most instances.
The first part of his argument is difficult to explain to me why you can fly somebody to New York.
That's true, yes.
I know at basically the same price that you fly somebody to Kingston. And the way the airline explains that is that the tickets to New York are subsidized by government, but they can't tell you what the figure is, right?
Okay.
Under this strategic development, so it's going to be, so in other words, a lot more money going to be spent now because they go to New York daily now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we have two callers. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O'Connor.
Good morning. How are you?
I am so thankful. This is Lavelle Marriott, and I have a concern this morning. I was driving down the road yesterday, and I was listening to the radio, and I heard a few advertisements, just kind of back to back, and they are promoting, they're asking for cans of food and all kind of stuff for the needy in this country.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I have a great concern. I just want to remind somebody out there. I have been living here for the last 28 years. And I just want to remind the government of this country that this is not a third world country. This is not by no means a third world country. There is no shortage of nothing in this land. Absolutely nothing but love. Anyway, I'll leave that for another day. But there is no shortage in no family in this country. We need to be very careful how ungrateful we have become to God. We have become a very set of ungrateful people, and I say that with everything in my heart. Because, and our focus is so, there is, by the way, to the organizations that are considered to be charity. It's not a charity to feed the future. You are not entitled to feed my children. You have no authority. The Word of God says, if you cannot provide for your children, you're worse than an infidel. Therefore, it is an insult to have an organization that feeds the future of your children. You must take care of your aged mother and father. That's biblical. That's Bible. It's okay for Miss, if I can call her name, Miss Maxfield, started a charity program where she would try to help out a few people, a few older folks.
Meals on Wheels.
Meals on Wheels that are not able to, somebody not able to provide a hot meal. But it's it's an insult to God, and it's an insult to you, ladies and gentlemen, that now there is such a great need that you refuse to feed your mother and your father that is now aged and not able to do so. We need to be very careful what we're doing. And we need to be very careful of the seeds that we are sowing in this hour, and we call it charity. The food banks where the churches are all getting caught up with, it is a seed of slave mentality. It is demoting the family. It's a disgrace to the family.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
caller, we don't have a whole lot of time, but my question for you is then if organizations don't do their part in assisting people, who should be doing that?
No, okay. If organizations don't listen, Mr. O'Connor, I do not believe that if you're going to assist, you assist the family. You don't assist the children.
Okay.
Big brother, big sister. Your way of raising children and my way of raising children may not be the same. Mm-hmm. But you need to address the mother and father. The situation arises with the parents not with the children.
Got you there, caller. I want to thank you very much for that. We have a few more callers, so we have to move on. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. For the Record.
Morning, Doc. How are you?
Morning, Dr. Markfield.
And good morning to Mr. Miller, the honorable member for the opposition. Mr. Miller, this is for you.
Yes, sir. Don't make it too hard now. Had a late night.
No, you know that we have.
Oh yeah, I know that.
They advocates for internal control of our country for generations now.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm older than you are, and I started when I was a teenager under the auspices of the great Orrett Bandon.
Right.
And now it's come down to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I just would like to ask you, Mr. Miller, how are you supporting the government to get more autonomy constitutionally, and they have not implemented Section 117 and Section 119 of the Constitution? And also, the government, Section 55 of the Constitution, I think it's Section 55(3), that gives the government the privilege or the power, the legal power, the constitutional power to ask the governor to transfer all of those responsibilities under Section 55(1) that he holds to ministers of cabinet. Why is it that you cannot get them to institute the law of the standards in public life, which holds them responsible, cabinet and all the boards and all those people that work in the public sector responsible? And why is it that they cannot put in the district council, the district advisory district councils? It seems like you're the only one who has done it. Why is it that they will not do it to give the people a say in the democratic system as the Constitution says? Remember, Mr. Miller, we went in 2009, we voted for that Constitution. That's our right, and the government has withheld that from us. So how can you support them now not implementing this?
Right.
Good question, Doc.
I don't give the government any freedom, and I don't tolerate their excuses for not implementing those two sections of the Constitution. And as you know, I have been a strong advocate that the standards in public health law must be brought in, right? And I've also said that the district council law should be given priority and sorted out, particularly now that we've gone to 19 constituencies. There needs to be some structural adjustment to that law. And I constantly advocate that these two people, but I can agree to try and get more autonomy and more authority for Caymanians to govern Cayman for Caymanians, even in the face of those two things not being implemented by the current government. Because when I get the government, I will implement them very quickly. And if we can get some other things that I can also implement when I get the government, I'll be happy about that. And the things that we are asking for have always troubled both you and I. Section 125, where they can phase laws for good governance, etc. We may not get it removed, but maybe we can put some belts and braces around it. Section 80, where the governor can, and I might have 81 and 80 confused here, so don't hold me to it. I don't have the Constitution in front of me. But 80, I think, has to do with the governor being able to override a decision of Parliament and refuse to assent to legislation. I'd like to see that removed, or at least some conditions put on it that a unanimous vote of Parliament can override his veto, for instance, or two-thirds majority, two-thirds vote in Parliament. Section 81, which gives him the unfettered right to write legislation in his office up at the glass house and implement it, I think is a dangerous thing to have if we get the wrong kind of governor. And I would like to see that removed, or at least, again, put that it has to have the consent of the Legislative Assembly.
Okay, I want to thank Doc for that question. We have one more caller.
But I accept your concerns, Dr. Markfield, and like you, I would like to see a notice in the Gazette today that the standards in public health law is being brought in, because we passed the legislation 4 years ago. We brought it back 2 years. But my understanding is that it is the private sector who is demanding that law not be brought in, and they don't want to serve on boards.
Very, very quickly, Doc, very quickly.
Just one thing, Mr. Ezra, if the announcement of the meeting in England had been a little further down in the air, I would have been up there with my placard, with my ticketing the venue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Doc. Take care. Last caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. You've been very patient. Thanks you.
Okay, sir. Right on. Understand the importance of what Matthew was saying. Good morning to you, Mr. O.C. Good morning to the Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
Morning.
Together. It's always good to hear him on there. Straight shooter. I'd just like to say, I wouldn't say what I was going to say with regards to other things. You don't have the time. It's interesting to know what Mr. Markfield said, but I said to you the other day, Mr. O.C., that it's a very different time now. At that time with Mr. Ormond Panton, the indigenous Caymanians or generational Caymanians were far outnumbered anybody else here. So the control and the wealth also laid in their hands. And right now as it is, we know that that is not the case at all. And so we're in a very different situation from any country around us, any of the former colonies in the Caribbean. I don't think anywhere in the world where the indigenous generational people are a minority. And also the power and the wealth lies in the hands of foreign here, foreigners, expatriates, whatever you want to say. So we can't even blame anyone, government, anybody in power now. And then the greater thing is that the control of the health insurance and the pensions mandated by our elected representatives is in the hands of the private sector also, mainly. This is a powerful control. If I just want to read you something real quickly.
Very quickly, caller. Thanks.
In Jamaica, in November 1957, the Executive Council, which was made up by appointed by the governor here and members who were elected, with the chief minister and governor presided, but they changed that to a council of ministers over which the chief minister presided in November 1957, with all members of the council of ministers nominated by him. This it reduced the governor's constitutional powers, making that post largely ceremonial. I see now we were going up to England with the efforts to move the Constitution forward more, giving us more autonomy. I just wondered if that is not the aim eventually, to reduce the governor's powers, as you're just saying, to make it largely ceremonial and we being charged more or less.
In some instances, they're trying not necessarily remove, but to restrict or curtail to a certain extent the governor's ability to do certain things.
Situation there, some similarity, but our situation at that time, they of course is just like how we were in 62, in majority control and majority wealth, and the people was there in the generational citizens, and it's very different now. Very different now.
Caller, thank you very much for that. You have a great weekend. Mr. Miller, one person indicated that the fares to Jamaica are high because of included taxes. I would imagine that there are taxes on all, but maybe the Jamaica one is different. But just talking about the constitutional talks, some people have have mentioned to me the fact that they're hoping that the constitutional talks, that there will be a verbatim record of those talks, just like how we had for the talks for our 2009 Constitution as well. That will happen. That's very important. Audio as well as the written ones. The other point also, I think Ian Henry will be there on the part of the UK, I believe.
But I would think so.
And if he is there, I think that will help, because you have someone there who's has knowledge of what took place before.
2009, yeah.
And I know I don't have to tell you or the Premier anything in terms of negotiation, but one of the things that the UK will always come along when you in the technical stages and you're talking, no, the minister won't agree to that particular issue. Well, I believe that the premier is going to have an opportunity, and I'm not sure whether or not you will, to talk to the minister in advance.
Well, you know,
of that. And if they tell you, the minister is not going to agree with that, then tell them, let me then sit down. Let us go and sit down and talk with the minister. Because many times what happens up there is the technocrats, the civil servants, it is their view that is being put across. They're telling the minister, we don't think that we want this to work this way or whatever. Exactly. So we have to be aware of that in those negotiations.
Yeah, I have observed on other visits to the UK and other forums that there's a disconnect between the FCO civil servant mentality and that of the politicians. Mm-hmm. And I'm always more comfortable talking with the politicians because I think we understand each other a lot better. And part of that whole colonial structure and the history of the FCO, the sea is still there.
Well, folks, before I have Mr. Miller have some closing comments. We're running over a little bit today, but Mr. Miller will pay for the extra time.
Yeah.
We're having a big party. There's a big party today. So join Radio Cayman as we bring you highlights from 3 until 6 p.m. today for the arrival of the Boeing 737 MAX 8 planes that we spoke about earlier. And despite, the concerns and everything else that are raised, I want you to know at the end of the day that we all, including Mr. Muller, we support Cayman Airways. We want to see
But I have
Cayman
an obligation to ask the right questions.
Exactly. So this is the very first 737 MAX 8 owned by a Caribbean airline. Something to be proud of, but I hope we didn't do it just to be the first. That there's more to it than that, and I think they have pointed that out as well. The ceremony kicks off at 3:30 p.m., and the arrival of the 737 MAX 8 is scheduled to be at 4:30 p.m. Families are invited to watch the landing, water cannon salute, and more from the airport park where festivities will be in full swing. Big party for the 737 MAX 8 aircraft arriving, and it will all be covered live by none other, the one and only Radio Cayman. Mr. Miller, some closing comments.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, as I said earlier, I always enjoy coming here and talking to the people. And just to reiterate what's going on in Northside, tomorrow evening at 5:30, I'm hosting one of the beloved Cayman celebration Thanksgiving, because you know that, and we need to promote this a lot more. Sunday is Cayman Thanksgiving. It's the first Sunday in December, because we celebrate giving thanks. We have a lot to be thankful for. No hurricanes again this year, and then they're having I think it's a kind of a sing-spiration with carols on the 8th at the playing field in Old Man Bay, the Ronald Faust playing field, and then on the 15th in the Civic Centre, Miss Alex and her civic-minded group. This is something they do every year, and they've been doing it for a long time. It must be probably in the region of about 17 or 18 years. It's very important to the community, and they do a great job, and we're grateful for all that they do. So the senior citizens they should come out to that. And I'm off on Tuesday to good old mother country to sit down with the premier and see what we can negotiate with from the UK government in terms of, and like I said, what we're trying to do is to improve the governance of Cayman by Caymanians for Caymanians.
And what is good about that is that you have both sides going and singing out of the same hymn book. That is extremely important.
Yes.
You're likely to achieve more. The chances of achieving more that way are much greater than going as a divided country.
The British are known for their ability, particularly as colonials, to divide and conquer. And
sometimes we facilitate that as well.
Right. Certainly, I know enough about negotiating to know that if we're negotiating as a team, it does not, you have to play a team sport. And it doesn't make sense to help the other guy score own goals for the other side by disagreeing with each other in front of them, because that's all they want. And I have made that clear.
Yeah, so, folks,
thank you very much.
Thank you very much to folks. I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension, for the record, into your Mr. Miller. for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your places of work, whether it be an office cubicle or if you were working in the outdoors. I also want to remind you that we are brothers and our sisters keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Mr. Gilbert McLean at 12 noon, 12:15 for Talk Today. Have a great weekend, and as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Fidelity Bank. For all your banking and pension needs, call or visit a Fidelity branch today. Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. And Cayman Pharmacy Group, with locations in West Base and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. And Seaboard Marine. With over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling Seaboard Marine at 949-4977.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.